let's get right into things. I don't want to waste any time today since we only have a very short amount of time together. And real quickly, before we get started here, the very first thing that I want to find out is how many of you in the room are currently Forex traders? So type in a Y for yes or type in the word me if you are currently a Forex trader, or if you have, obviously you have an interest in learning about the Forex market. I know there's a lot of information out there regarding the market, and obviously that's what we're here to discuss. Now, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about today, folks, is my goal is to really give you all proper expectation as far as what you can expect as a Forex investor. My goal is to really show you literally one of the greatest strategies that I've ever learned that really allows us to see some very high returns on our investments. Now, this is referred to as the London Breakout strategy. That is what I'm going to be sharing with all of you today. And as we do move along, before I get into things, folks, I do have to let you all know that trading does have its own form of risk involved. So you should never invest money that you cannot afford to lose, and you always want to trade with equity management in mind. There is no such thing as an undefeated season, and you make your losses from time to time, but the key is to keep your profits high and have minimal losses, and of course we will talk about that when we do get to the live market, of course. Now, for those of you that have never heard me speak before, I just want to quickly take a minute or so out real quickly and just kind of share with all of you a little bit about myself and a little bit about my background. So for the past 7 years, I have been coaching and mentoring individuals on essentials necessary to succeed in the marketplace. I do speak to organizations and large audiences, training them on how to become a results-driven achiever. And for the past almost 2 years now, I've actually been coaching and mentoring people on how to successfully trade the Forex market. And so if you take a look at I'm not big on reading off scripts or bullet points, but just kind of give you an idea, I did what the system of life tells you to do. Go to school, get a good job, work hard, it doesn't matter, get in debt, right? And so I did go to University of Central Florida. I got accepted into law school, and I quickly found myself in my 20s struggling. I looked good, smelled good, but I was broke. Okay, I was fooling everybody around me except myself, and that's when I realized that what, if I don't do something different, I can't expect anything to change. And that's ultimately how I was introduced to the Forex market. Now, real quickly, how many of you, type in a Y for yes or the word me if you can relate with me in any way, shape, or form? Okay, you feel like you've done everything you're supposed to do right, you have your work hard badge, and you've provided and protected, and you're just at a point where you're like, look, is this all there is? This is not doom and gloom, but obviously I believe you're here because you want something more, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, let me just start off quickly by kind of filling you in a little bit about the company that's going to be backing you and that I represent, MTI. MTI does stand for Market Traders Institute, and it's an education company. We are the first and the oldest Forex training institute on the planet, and we have been in existence since April of 1994, which does make us a 21-year company. As a matter of fact, come January 1st of the new year, that will be our 22-year anniversary, which is pretty awesome. We are based out of Lake Mary, Florida, which is right near Orlando, about 25 minutes from Disney World, if anyone's ever traveled to Disney here in Florida. And I want you to think about that. Okay, been around for almost 22 years now, over 30,000 clients and students. That's longevity. Okay, we are not a fan of gimmicks whatsoever. I know there's a lot of companies out there that are fly-by-night companies. They want to provide you with something gimmicky, and they kind of leave you hanging, right? Well, one of the things that I want you to take a look at on the screen is where it says investing in our students in 2014. It says $2,482,462 and over 89,000 resource hours. Once again, same thing. It's what we do. We run a university, basically, okay, an institute to help students achieve whatever level of success that they want to accomplish, of course. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about before I go ahead and kind of shift gears, and I want you all to pay very close attention to this. I don't know if you know this, but the average Forex trader claims that they're only about 33% profitable. It's fairly dismal if you ask me. I didn't make this up. This is from data collected every quarter by brokers via a survey. Well, we did the same thing here at MTI, and except for all of our students, and here's the difference. MTI Forex traders are 61% profitable, making them 85% more likely to profit than the average trader out there. And don't take my word for it, but the proof is in the numbers. But how many of you would feel that much more confident knowing you're linked up with a company with this type of track record? For those of you wondering, why am I talking a little bit about MTI? Because once again, I think the foundation is huge, and really the foundation and backing of what I'm going to be showing you, because everything I know about trading, folks, everything that I know that I'm going to teach you, I learned here at from MTI. Now, not only does MTI have some of the absolute best strategies, but MTI also has some of the absolute best expert Forex instructors and analysts in the Forex industry. And one specific instructor that I want to make note of real quick, his name is Joshua Martinez. He is known around the globe as the FX Pathfinder. And now I want to just kind of give you a little bit of background on him, and then I'll tell you, of course, why I'm filling you in on who he is. Well, he is one of MTI's product experts. He has trained thousands of Forex investors. He's turned an initial deposit investment of $500 US and generated over $39,000 of profit. He's made thousands of Forex investments, published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and a full-time trader. Now, why am I telling you this? Because he's created a strategy that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and this strategy has really allowed us to do some pretty unbelievable things. For example, I want you to take a look at the screen. All right, back in June 5th of 2011, he opened up a trading account with just $500 US. What this gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. Okay, and I'll talk about what a micro position means. When he first started trading, though, maybe like many of you, and definitely like myself, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade and losing $2 to $5 per trade. Right? But when he started going through the education that MTI offers, he started noticing patterns in the market. Now, if we do fast forward, you'll notice that he was able to take time compounding and build residual income. And through the course, when he was able to, he put more money in along the way. But he stuck with it. He didn't grow weary in well doing. And what it ultimately taught him how to do was, like I mentioned before, how to reinvest his money, compound, build residual income. And of course, as he deposited money along the way, this is what allowed him to see daily returns of up to $4,000 to $5,000 per day in profits. I mean, look, he was even withdrawing $10,000 at a time, and what once took him 6 months, working 5.5 days a week to make as a personal trainer, he was now doing in one single day. Now, let me ask you this question, folks, okay? How many of you, type in a Y for yes or the word me in the chat box if you would like to get to this point. How many of you would like to learn a strategy, maybe multiple strategies, that will allow you to get to a point where you have a track record like this? Because listen, nobody starts trading and all of a sudden you go from 0 to here. Okay, you're going to go through different phases, but once again, it's all about long-term thinking and what is it that you want in the long term. Now, last thing I want to talk about before I pull up the live market. Okay, if you take a look at his track record, which is third-party verified, you'll see that he has a gain of 4,548.82% return on his initial deposit investment. Now, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice the graph of his growth. Okay, it shows that he was making money and losing money, and making money, losing money, but all of a sudden things absolutely took off. Y'all see that? Okay, we like to call this a tipping point. And what my goal is today, what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to show you the strategy that's really been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points to hopefully assist you in finding your tipping points faster. So with that, let's get right into the live market. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my charts. And if everybody can please give me a nice Y for yes in the chat box when you see my charts to let me know that we are in fact good to go. And I may go silent for about 2 seconds. All right, thanks everybody. Appreciate the confirmation there. All right, now let me go ahead and let's just take a deep dive and get right into things. All right, since like I said, we have a lot of things to talk about in a very short amount of time. Now, what I want you to understand, folks, what we have in front of us. Okay, this is our ultimate charting software. This is proprietary to us. This is the software that we do provide all of our students with here at MTI who do decide to enroll in our Ultimate Traders Package on Demand program. Now, I know we have some experienced traders in the room, and I also know that we have some novice traders as well. But real quickly, I want you all to write down. I want you to write down all 6 of these currency pairs. Okay. If you're having a hard time seeing it, okay, I'll just kind of type a few out. All right. So once again, we have the pound Aussie. All right. We have the pound Canadian. Over here, we have the pound Swiss. Okay, Swiss franc. Over here, we have the pound Japanese yen. Over here, we have the pound New Zealand. And then lastly, we do in fact have the pound USD, okay, US dollar. Now, what you'll notice, folks, is that these are all pound crosses, okay? So right out of the gate, that's what you're probably going to take away from that, if anything. But these are the 6 currency pairs that we are going to utilize with this specific strategy, okay? So once again, I want you to write these 6 pairs down. And if it's easier for you, you can always hit the little there's a little camera button that will allow you to take a snapshot of the screen. It will save to your desktop if that saves you some time as well. All right. Now, I want you all to understand, folks, that all 6 of these currency pairs, these are all on a 1-hour time frame. All right. Now, type in the word done when you have that written down. All right. Let me know that you have that written down. We're good to go. All right. Good stuff. Perfect. All right. Now, next thing I want to talk about is I'm going to go ahead and let's just go with the pound Japanese yen. All right, now when you look at this, folks, here's what I want everyone to understand. Right out of the gate, I want everybody to take a look at this, and what you'll notice, what you should notice, is how the market moves. Okay, the market moves, folks, in a wave-like pattern where the market's going to form highs. Okay, the market's going to form lows. Market's going to form highs and lows and highs and lows, and the market will do this over and over and over again. And that's one of the beautiful things about the market, folks, is that it has a very, very high percentage of providing you with the same signals, usually during the same areas, usually during the same time frames. Okay. Now, this is very basic market. This is basic market movement, right? You notice how the market's making higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs. Now, when I say that, here's what I'm referring to. Okay. When the market goes up, it goes up like this: higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. And when the market goes down, it makes lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows and lower highs. All right? Everyone with me so far? Now, one of the greatest things, folks, about the Forex market compared to other markets like, and like I said, I'm not putting any other market down, but other markets like options or any other market out there, is that in this market is if you want to buy the market, just buy it. Okay? If you want to sell the market, just sell it. All right? There's not many options that you have. You can either only buy the market or sell the market. Now, when you look at this, you'll notice that we do in fact have, okay, we're trading the Great British Pound against the Japanese yen. So what does that actually mean? Well, I want everyone to take a look at the live market right here. Okay? Is everyone with me so far? Does everybody see the live market? All right, this little red arrow here, folks, that fluctuates, I want you to understand first and foremost that these white and dark blue looking candlesticks, these rectangular shapes, these are called Japanese candlesticks, okay? And what they are is they're a visual representation of how much the market has moved in whatever time frame you select. Now, you can have it, you can set it up to where it shows you whatever time frame you want, 1 minute per candle, 15 minutes, an hour, 4 hours, day, week, month, whatever you want. But once again, for the sake of what I'm going to be talking about today, we are going to be utilizing a 1 hour time frame. Now, what you'll notice, folks, is that these Japanese candlesticks, okay, as I mentioned, they're a visual representation of how much the market has moved in whatever time frame you select. But what we do is we look at these to help us basically identify what the market's going to do next. So, for example, here's what I want you all to take a look at. One more thing before I kind of shift gears on what I'm talking about. But does everybody agree? Type in a Y for yes if you agree that the market was going down, okay, then the market decided to go up. All right, everybody agree with me on that so far? All right, well, watch this. Ready? Remember, we're trading the Great British Pound against the Japanese yen. So when the market's going down, okay, these dark blue candles represent the market going down, white means up. But when the market goes down, that is called a bear market or bearish movement. That means that the Great British Pound is losing value, okay, losing value against the Japanese yen. Now, when the market's going up, okay, that is called a bull market or bullish movement. Now, that's telling us the Great British Pound is gaining value against the Japanese yen. All right? Fair enough. Now, remember before, folks, how I said you can either only buy the market or sell the market? Those are your only two options. How many of you realize that with that being said, that you have a 50-50 chance of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing? Now, I'm not telling you to guess or gamble, but how many of you agree with me that, yes, you have a 50-50 shot at being right or wrong just by guessing, which means that if you add a decent strategy to that, how many of you agree with me that the percentages will fall highly in your favor, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I do want to shift gears a little bit, and what I'm going to get into right now, folks, is I'm going to go ahead and bring this. I'm going to bring this up to a blank part of the screen, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the strategy and just kind of share it with you real quick on a blank part of the screen so that it's a little bit easier to follow along spatially. It will be a little bit easier for you to understand. Now, what you have to understand, folks, one of the greatest things about the market is, like I said, it does the same thing over and over and over again, day in and day out, and has a very high percentage of giving you the same signals, usually in the same time frames, usually during the same areas. Now, one of the areas that the market has provided us with, folks, is that the market will give us a high and a low, all right, 2 times a day. Now, what I mean by that is this, all right? Remember how I told you, folks, that the market obviously, I don't know if I told you this, but the Forex market, you can trade it 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week, so it is open within a 24-hour period, and you're going to be able to see this, especially on a 1 hour time frame. But once again, the market will provide you with a high and or a low 2 times a day. So let's go ahead and type this out. We have a high and or a low here, and then over here we have a high and or a low once again, all right, 2 times a day. Now, one of the things that the market will do, like I said, it repeats itself over and over again, is the market will typically, it will form its first high, okay, or low between the hours of 2 a.m. Once again, if you're taking notes, definitely want to write this down. Between 2 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 a.m. Eastern Time, okay? Now, the second high or low of the day, that's a little bit different. That is going to form between the hours of, I'll go ahead and write it up here, between the hours of 8 a.m., okay, and I'm talking referring to Eastern Time, and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. Now, with that being said, here's what I want everybody to take away from this. How many of you agree with me? Let me ask you this. How many of you agree with me? Type in a Y for yes if you agree that the first high or low of the day within a 3-hour time frame is going to be much easier to identify and find than a 6-hour time frame. How many of you agree with me on that so far? All right. So once again, very basic movement, and what I want you to understand, folks, is that we will be focusing in on the first high or low of the day between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Now, the actual candle that we're going to be focusing on is the 3 a.m. candle. All right. So once again, this is the candle that we are going to be focusing on. All right, for each trade that we place. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, folks, is I want to shift gears, and now I want to actually talk to all of you about how many pips can we expect the market to move every single day. Well, here's what I want you to understand. This is very important to understand because the distance covered between the low and the high, or the high and the low of the day, this is known as average daily trading range. All right, so I'm going to write this out: average daily trading range. Now, what I want you to know, folks, is that can be anywhere between, all right, anywhere between 50 pips and 200 pips. Okay, so that's how many pips the market can move, really just kind of depending on market fluctuation. Now, what we're going to be doing, folks, is we are going to be going after a minimum of 50 pips per trade that we place, all right? So we could, listen carefully, we might be going after more pips, all right, but we're going to be going after a minimum of 50 at the least, all right? Now, for those of you wondering what is a pip, that's what we're going to actually talk about right now. And so let me go ahead and move this up here. I'll just keep that circled right there, all right? Now, in the market, folks, a lot of times, what do people ask? Well, what exactly is a pip, and what is it worth to me? How much money can I make in the market? Well, here's what you need to know. In the Forex market, there's 3 major lot sizes traded in the Forex market, okay? So I'll just put 3 major lot sizes traded in Forex market, and depending on your investment, depending on what lot size you're trading, that will determine, and that will basically determine what your return on investment will be, what your profit will be, okay? So let's go ahead and let's just start off with the smallest lot size available to you, okay? The smallest lot size available to you is known as a micro lot. Now, that is a $20 investment, and each pip, all right, is going to be worth 10 cents. Now, the next lot size available to you, this is known as a mini lot. Now, a mini lot, okay, is a $200 investment, and each pip, 1 pip, is worth $1, okay? And then finally, the largest lot size available to you, this is known as a standard lot, okay? And that is a $2,000 investment, and each pip is worth 10 US dollars, okay? Now, here's what I want you all to understand, is that what I'm going to be doing today, folks, is we are going to be focusing in on the standard lot. So for every trade that I show you, I will be using a standard lot as the example, okay? So, hey, Robert, did that answer your question, buddy? Can I get a Y for yes from everyone if this helped you out? Is everybody good to go? Can we kind of shift gears and just kind of keep moving here, all right? So once again, what are some takeaways? We're going to be focusing in on the first high or low of the day between 2 and 5, which we will be focusing on the 3 a.m. candle. We'll be going after a minimum of 50 pips, could be more, but minimum 50, and we will be focusing in on as if we're trading with a standard lot position, all right? But let me just kind of give you it all perspective real quick. All right, and depending on or based on what I'm showing you, let's just say on the low end you make 50 pips per day, okay? That's either $5 with a standard position, $50 with a mini position, okay, or $5 with a micro position, all right? So with that being said, can I delete this and can we move on? Everybody good to go? All right, let me get a Y for yes or the word me from the majority of you. Just let me know that everyone's good. You got your snapshots and pictures and notes. All right. Good deal, good deal. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete all this. Let's bring this back to the live market. And let's go ahead and let's get right into strategy, folks, okay? Now, one of the things that I want you all to understand right out of the gate, okay, is that, like I said, what are we going to be doing? Okay, first things first is we're going to be focusing in on the 3 a.m. candle. So I'm going to type out 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right? So once again, that's the candle that we're going to be focusing on. Now, if I go ahead and back the market up just a little bit, here's what I want you all to take a look at. Can everyone please be so kind, type in a Y for yes if you do in fact agree that this is a 3 a.m. candle. Does everybody see this dark candle that I have? It's lit up red. Everyone see that? All right. What do you all notice is happening after that 3 a.m. candle? Do you notice how the market creates a directional push up towards the north? Everyone see that? All right, now let's go ahead and I could do this all day long. Let me just go ahead and show you another one real quick. All right, as we do move along. Let's see here. Okay, here's another one. Everyone agree with me? There's a 3 a.m. candle right here. Okay, now I want you to take a look. Does the market create a directional push down towards the north? Okay, I keep saying down towards the north. It's down towards the south. Sorry about that. All right, up towards the north, down towards the south. All right, now, with that being said, does everybody now understand why we're focusing on the 3 a.m. candle? Because the market will create a directional push, okay, around that time frame. Like I said, typically, specifically, a lot of times people ask, well, Mike, can you do this on every currency pair out there? And I'm just going to tell you right now, there's a reason we do this with the pound. All right, specifically, I'm not going to get into a dissertation on why, but just understand that we focus on this strategy specifically with the pound. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back the market up, and I want everyone to take a look. I'd like for everybody to please type in a Y for yes if you agree with me. Okay, let me just go ahead and advance the market forward a little bit more. All right, does everybody agree with me, folks, that we are on a 3 a.m. candle? Okay, and there's really no way of you knowing that yet. All right, but take a look right here. Everyone agree with me that we are at the 3 a.m. candle. All right, you should see a little box information tool that's going to appear on the screen. All right, now, the first thing we're going to do, folks, when we have the 3 a.m. candle appear is this. All right, let me just go ahead and delete that. All right, so first things first, once we identify our 3 a.m. candle, first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to place 2 horizontal lines on the screen, okay, on that candle. Now, first horizontal line, folks, I'm going to go ahead and make this. Let me go ahead and just make this. I'm going to do these black lines real quick. All right, now take a look real quick. All right. Once again, we're going to place a line right there, and we're going to place a line right there. Now, for those of you wondering what exactly, where exactly do these horizontal lines go, here's what I want you to understand. The very first horizontal line, okay, we are going to place this, okay, 10 pips above our high. Okay, so once again, if you take a look right here, folks, all right, we're going to move this up 10 pips. Okay, so let's go ahead and start moving it. And that is going to leave us at 10 pips right there. Okay, now if you take a look at my measuring tool, folks, my ruler tool, you'll notice that if I measure pips, I want everyone to take a look at the top left-hand side of their screen. Does everybody notice how we have 4 lines of information that appear and they're kind of fluctuating? Does everybody see that? So once again, if you take a look, folks, you should look at the third line down where it says range with pips of parentheses. That obviously is telling us that's 10 pips. Okay, so first horizontal line is going to be called my entry buy. All right, entry buy, and that is going to be, as I mentioned before, 10 pips plus 10 pips above the high. Okay, every single time, this is never going to change. Now, the second horizontal line that we're placing, this right here, folks, all right, take a look at what I'm doing. That is going to be called my entry sell. So once again, entry sell, and this is going to be minus 5 pips below my low. Now, let's go ahead and move this accordingly. So we'll drop this down 5 pips. And that will bring us to right there. All right, now, before I move on, can everybody please be so kind, type in a Y for yes if you're with me so far. How many of you are with me so far? Okay, you understand what I did, right? I'm keeping it very, very simple right now. All right, so that's it. 3 a.m. candle, we have an entry buy, we have an entry sell. Now, next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wait for the market to advance forward because I need the market to cross into either my entry buy zone or my entry sell, and this is how I'm going to determine, okay, if I'm going to buy or if I'm going to sell the market. So let's go ahead and advance the market forward and take a look. Yes or no, folks, did the market cross into my entry sell zone? Yes or no? Does everybody see that? All right. So watch this. That is going to tell me right now that I am looking to what? I am going to look to sell the market. All right. Now, next thing I want to talk about, okay, the moment we decide to sell the market, next thing we need to do is, first things first, is we want to go ahead and we are going to protect ourselves, okay? So we're going to set up, we're going to place our stop on the screen. Now, for those of you that don't know what a stop is, understand that a stop is really designed to protect you. So let's say you sell the market and the market goes up, okay? You decide to go, sell the market, short it, but the market goes long, it goes in the opposite direction, it will stop you out, and it's designed to protect you, okay? So when we go ahead and place our stop, folks, here's what you need to know. Our stop, okay, is going to be placed, listen carefully, it's going to be placed plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. So we're going to move this up 5 pips, and that's going to take us to right there, okay? So once again, I'm going to go ahead and just type this out for you. Our stop is going to be plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. okay, 3 a.m. wick high, okay? So with that being said, is everybody with me so far? All right, making sense? Okay, now the next thing we're going to do, watch carefully, ready? I am going to delete my entry buy. Okay, we no longer need our entry buy because remember, we are now shorting the market. Now, the entry sell is now going to officially become, all right, my market sell. All right, so it went from an entry sell to a market sell because we are now officially, okay, we are now officially looking to short the market. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's just change this to green. Okay, now next thing I want to talk about, how do we know how many pips we're going after? Well, does everybody remember how I told them? All right, does everybody remember how I told them before that we are going to go after a minimum of 50 pips? Everybody remember that? Okay, so like I said, we're going after minimum of 50 pips. However, what I need to do is, how do I know if I'm going to go after more than that? I am going to measure, okay, I'm going to measure my risk. So let's take a look at how many pips I'm risking. So if I go ahead and look at my entry point and I measure this to my stop, how many of you can tell me how many pips do you see on the screen? Top left-hand side, I'd like for everyone to please type out the number of pips they see. All right, you see 56, right? So remember, minimum 50 pips, right? But if our risk is greater, we're going to go after whatever our risk is. So I'm going after 56 pips, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to grab our ruler tool and I'm going to measure 56 pips. So let's drop this down and this is going to bring me to, that's going to bring me right here to 184.21419, okay? So 214.1, let's go ahead and jot that. So, all right. All right, so once again, folks, I want everyone to take a look at what I just did. And let me go ahead and just kind of measure this to make sure that we are on par. All right, and all right, so there we have it, 56 pips. I'm going to drop it down about 4 more pips, and that is going to be my target. Okay, now, based on that, based on what I have so far, here's what you have to understand, folks, okay, is that right now, all right, based on what you see, this is now going to be my target. So my target, okay, watch this, my target is now plus 56 pips potential. All right, now what does that equate to? At a standard lot, that equates to $560 profit. So what I'm going to do, before I move on, can everyone please type in a Y for yes if you're with me so far? How many of you are with me so far? You understand what I'm doing, okay? And like I said, you're going to learn all the details and what I'm going to be showing you here in just a moment. But as I advance the market forward, remember, you're living your life, doing your thing. And folks, did the market fulfill our target, yes or no? Correct. Yes. Fietsma, you are correct, okay? So once again, does everybody notice what just happened, all right? We fulfilled our target, so my 56 pips potential, okay, is now, believe it or not, that is going to be plus 56 pips reward, which equates to $560 of profit, and we did that in what? In 3 hours. Now, type in a Y for yes, folks, if you would be pretty darn excited if you were able to capture that kind of profit in that time frame, okay? And hey, Felix, the reason we went after 56 pips is because my risk was 56 pips. Now remember, if my risk, okay, was 36 pips, I'd be going after minimum 50 pips. Does that make sense, folks? So if my risk is 20 pips, if it's 30 pips, anything less than 50, we're going after minimum 50, but if it's greater than 50, we're going after whatever our risk is, all right? Now, next thing I want to do is let's go ahead and I'm going to minimize that, okay? So once again, and by the way, if I bring us to live market, you'll notice, what do you notice? Do you notice how the market immediately kind of U-turns and it starts kind of panning out, right? So once again, folks, that's the beauty behind it, is that the market will do the same thing over and over and over again. Now, next thing I want to do, okay, let's go ahead and let's get into another one. All right, let's just go with the, let's see here. All right, let's go to the pound Swiss. How's that? Okay, we're going to pull up the pound Swiss. Same thing, folks. How many of you believe you got this? How many of you believe this is something that, you know what, you're starting to get the hang of, okay? So watch this. Candle. Everyone with me so far? Yes, Penny, that is, okay, I might be answering that right now, Penny. If I don't, I'll definitely answer that question. So what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to our 3 a.m. candle, which is obviously right here. Once again, folks, is everybody okay if I don't type this out? How many of you are okay? Type in a Y for yes if you guys are okay because of time. If I just go ahead and plot everything, but I don't necessarily type it all out like I did before, okay? So 3 a.m. candle, we're going to go ahead, we're going to place 2 horizontal lines. Okay, my first horizontal line is going to be plus 10 pips above the high. Okay, so that's going to bring us to right there. All right, once again, that's going to be plus 10 pips. And then down here, I'm going to place my entry sell, okay, plus or minus 5 pips below the 3 a.m. wick low. So let's drop this down 5 pips. And that will lead me to right here, okay? So once again, if you take a look, folks, we are up 10 pips. We're down 5 pips, all right? Now, next thing I'm going to do, because remember, folks, okay, we are not in the market selling or buying yet. These are nothing more than pending orders, okay? So once I do that, remember, let me just type it out real quickly. Okay, last time. Here's my entry buy. Okay, my entry buy is going to be once again plus 10 pips. All right, above the high. And this down here is going to be my entry sell, which is going to be minus 5 pips below my low. All right, now, next thing I want to talk about. What do you think we're going to do now? How many of you agree that at this point, all we're going to do is live our life? We're waiting for the market to take its course. Okay. Now, folks, did the market take its course, and does it look like we're going to be selling the market, yes or no? How many of you are with me? Does it look like we're going to be shorting the market? Absolutely, right? It crossed into my entry sell. Now, first things first, we're going to delete our opposite order. Okay, we're going to delete that. We're going to place our stop. My stop is going to be plus 5 pips above the high. Okay, so once again, let's move this up 5 pips, and that is going to lead me to right there, okay? So we're going to change the color of that. That is now going to go from green to red because that is my stop, okay? Once again, plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. Now, remember, my entry sell is now going to become my market sell, okay? We are now officially selling the market, okay? Now, how do I know how many pips I'm going after? Well, just like before, folks, I'm going to measure my risk. So how many of you can tell me how many pips am I risking on this trade? Who can tell me right now? Okay, we're risking what? 52 pips. Is that right? Does everybody see where I'm getting this from? Top left-hand side. So our risk is 52 pips. Okay. Now, what do you think my reward is going to be? My reward is going to be plus 52 pips. So once again, we're going to drop this down 52 pips, and that will bring me to, okay, that's going to bring me to right here, 49295. Oops, kind of moved it around there. So once again, 49295, and that's going to lead me to right there. All right, now, before I move on, can everyone please be so kind? Type in a Y for yes if you're with me so far. How many of you are understanding the basics of what we're doing, and how many of you are starting to kind of get the hang of, okay, we wake up early in the morning, okay, we take advantage of the market, and we walk away with profit. Some people, folks, make money here, and guess what? They go back to bed right afterwards. You know, how many of you would like to start your day off with these kind of rewards? Now watch this. I'm going to advance the market forward. Folks, did the market fulfill our target? Yes or no? That is correct, Didi. That is correct, okay? So did the market fulfill our target? Yes or no? Everybody see that? The market went from here to here. We fulfilled our target. Within 3 hours, we are out of the trade. So within 3 hours, we are up 52 pips. Okay, or $520 US profit in 3 hours. So once again, second trade we placed, and that's what we're looking at. Now, with that being said, because like I said, we have a short amount of time together today, how many of you like what you see? How many of you believe that this is something that would honestly be of great value to you? All right, and what I'm going to do, and hey, Luis, we're going to talk about that here in just a moment, okay? That is correct, Penny. I'm going to show you one more because I have to keep moving, but let me just go ahead, and somebody was asking me earlier, all right, can we take a look at the U.S.? So yeah, we absolutely can. We'll pull up the pound U.S., okay? Let's take a look. Now, I'm going to go through this one a little bit quickly. Is everybody okay with that if I go through this one a little bit quicker? All right, now watch this. I believe that you guys are going to be able to identify this fairly quickly. Watch this. Ready? 3 a.m. candle. We're going to place our entry buy plus 10 pips above, correct? And we're going to have an entry sell that's going to be minus 5 pips below. Let's bring this up 10 pips. Okay, that's going to lead me to right there. That is plus 10 pips above. And then once again, we have an entry sell that's going to be minus 5 pips below. Okay, and that's going to go right there. Now, same thing, folks. Watch this. We're living our life. Did the market cross into my entry sell or entry buy? The market crossed into my entry sell. So I'm immediately going to delete my opposite order. I'm going to place my stop. My stop is going to go plus 5 pips above. Okay, that's going to lead me to right there. So I'll go ahead and change this to red. And watch this, folks. How much is my risk? Okay, what are we risking? All right, now here's a great one. I want everyone to take a look at this. Can everyone type in the risk that I have right now? Yeah, Craig, we're waiting for the 3 a.m. candle to fulfill itself, buddy. Absolutely, okay? All right, so we're risking 35 pips. Here's a great example. If we're risking 35 pips, how many pips are we going after? Bingo. Great job, everybody. John, Kathy, Eileen, y'all are listening. We're going after 50 pips minimum, right? So that's going to lead me to 49702, 49702, and that's going to go right there. Once again, folks, I now have my target. It's plus 50 pips away. Folks, did the market fulfill our target? Yes or no? 1, 2, 3, 4 hours later, the market fulfilled itself. Okay, we had the market go from our entry to our target. We are now plus 50 pips up. Plus 50 pips is going to equate to roughly $500 US profit at a standard lot. We did that in 4 hours. Folks, here's my question to you. Based on these 3 trades that I just placed, based on the 3 examples that I showed you, how many of you would be pretty darn excited if you were able to capture this morning alone? Okay, this morning alone, I didn't even get into the others, 560 plus 520 plus 500, $1,580 US profit, folks, this morning. And guess what? All right, it wasn't even what? 8 o'clock. We were done by 7 a.m. You're having your cup of coffee. You're done for the day. Okay. So for those of you that say, "Oh, I don't want to wake up early," how many of you would rather get a nice, long, great night's rest, not wake up at all, and have to go maybe work a job or figure out how to make money? Or how many of you would like to sacrifice, wake up, okay, place your trade, go back to bed? Because when you have your stop set and your limit set, guess what, folks? The market will automatically take you out when it's time to get out. Making sense? So I'm going to move on, folks. I am coming down on the wire here with time. And so how many of you would like to plug into some professional traders as they teach you, okay, the ins and outs? How many of you would like to learn multiple strategies that are literally this incredible, that would really allow you to do some pretty powerful things, folks? I had no clue that the Forex market was as powerful until I was really obviously introduced to it. But if you take, and by the way, Penny's asking, what about on entries on if the market's going up? Same thing, Penny. Okay, unfortunately, I have about 5-6 minutes left, so I can't show you an example right now, but it's the same thing, but in the opposite direction, okay? Now, with that, folks, we're all about results, okay? If you're anything like me, we want results, and we like to show you results. Now, if you take a look here, folks, once again, all right, if you take a look at some student results, here's Thomas, okay? He's pastor from Ontario, Canada, says, I made $4,500 in my first week. Okay, if you take a look right here, this is, once again, Anthony from Trinidad and Tobago says, I would say about a month after I started to see return on my investment. Average month of trading, I'm making 3,000 plus pips. Here's Peter Cook. I did Josh's pound Aussie, and it took me to the limit, just as Josh said. I didn't move my stop or fiddle with the plan, and it was good for 80 pips, 800 US dollars, all right? And hey, Glenn, you're going to be pretty shocked with what I'm about to show you. All right, and I can go on and on and on, folks. Here's Travis, says still long on the pound Canadian, up almost 700 pips. 7,000 US dollars at a standard lot. And here's what I want you to know, folks. A lot of you are wondering, well, what do you mean 700 pips? How do we even capture that with the London breakout? Remember how I told you folks that you're going to learn multiple strategies? Y'all remember that, how I told you you're going to learn multiple things? You know, for example, if you take a look right here, folks, all right, this is an example of, you know, I mean, just imagine of having an income, folks, of you know, $3,000 to $5,000 a month. You know, how many of you, you know, would find a lot of value in that? And so what I want to go ahead and do now is I'm going to shift gears, and my question to all of you is this. Type in a Y for yes if you thought this was easy to follow, easy to obey, and easy to do. How many of you believe this is something that you can learn? All right, obviously you have questions, okay? Like I said, there's only so much we can cover in a very short amount of time. But what I want you to know, folks, is you're going to get, you know, 2 of our expert Forex masterminds. And like I said, I can go on and on. Here's Samson Sweeting. Says, here are my trades from today. Thanks, MTI. Over 300 pips. That's 3,000 US dollars. And here's Bobby. I love this. One of my great friends. He says, thanks to MTI and Chris for helping me and so many others to become successful traders. Here's my reward to myself for having my first 1,500 pip week. Okay, it's a $15,000 week at a standard lot position. So this is what it's going to lead me to, folks. I'm going to get into the details of what we're going to be offering you, what we're going to allow you to plug into. But before I do, a lot of you have questions regarding how do I get involved? What is this all about? So I'm going to go ahead and show you what we're doing right now, and then I'll quickly cover the details of what this is all about. Now, I want to help everyone in this webinar today by doing something that we literally, I've never done this before. We do not do this, especially what I'm about to show you. Normally, okay, if you want to get involved into our professional analysts, follow them, get a bunch of bonuses, you can get involved for $297, okay? However, for those of you that want to get involved right now to at least try it out for your first 30 days, we're going to allow you to get involved right now today for just $7 US, folks. That's the cost of a smoothie, okay? So all you have to do is I believe Reed is going to go ahead and send everybody the link. And so once again, Reed, if you could please send that chat to everybody. I see you just did. And can everyone please click that link and just type in a Y for yes if you guys do in fact see that. Okay, just type in a Y for yes if you can click the link for me and let me know that the promo's pulling up just fine. And here's the crazy thing, okay? This is literally the crazy thing, is that when I show you what you're about to get your hands on, okay, and by the way, this is not a 12-month commitment. This is a month-to-month deal, okay? If within your first 30 days it's not for you, no worries. All right, and speaking of that, here's the next thing. How many of you believe, type in a Y for yes if you agree that, you know what, okay, $7 really isn't that much. How many, you know, I'm not saying money grows on trees, but how many of you agree, okay, that's not, you know, that's a good investment, but that's not, you know, a whole lot of money, right? Okay, now watch this. We're even going to give you all a 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee, okay? Even on $7, folks, if you feel it's not for you within your first 30 days, we will refund your $7, okay? Kamran's laughing. Yeah, believe it or not. Why? Because we want you to find the value, folks. So here's the deal. This is what you're going to be receiving for the $7 investment, all right? Now, you're going to get 8 live market online Forex sessions per month with 2 of MTI's analysts. In these monthly live market sessions, folks, you are going to learn directly from our live analysts about how you can potentially mimic their Forex success. You will understand how to avoid making costly mistakes. You like the London breakout strategy? Well, guess what? You're going to learn multiple strategies just as powerful, just as incredible, and you will be able to pick the analyst's brain in live Q&A sessions. Now, you're also going to get 1 Forex market preview video each week. Okay, so you're going to have exclusive access to the market analysis that we do, okay, that you're going to see on a weekly basis. You're going to know the trades they're looking to set up for, the trades they're looking to place, and once again, you will have all of this, and you're also going to get an email reminder. Now, next thing, each of these sessions will be recorded. Okay, so even if you can't attend live, you'll be able to extract the knowledge. Okay, with the recorded replays that we're going to be able to we're going to make available to you. You're going to have an archive, folks. And how many of you agree that, you know what, for $7, type in a Y for yes or the word me if you believe that that's not a bad investment. That's worth it for you to walk away with some pretty incredible strategies that you can apply for the rest of your life that are just as incredible as what I showed you. Now, here's what I couldn't believe, okay? You are all going to receive 4 bonuses for getting involved today. Yes, literally for $7, okay? Bonus 1, 30 days free of MTI's Analyst on Demand service. So you will literally have access for 30 days to plug and play every single day. 24, okay, our analysts are available 24 hours a day, 5.5 days a week, every day telling you what to trade, where to get in, where to get out, and you can literally run whatever you want by them if you want them to help you analyze something. Okay, bonus 2, you're going to get an introduction to currency trading, so you will get 4 Forex lessons by MTI. Bonus number 3, you will get a profit plan consultation call, and lastly, bonus for you will get a free ebook, 10 Keys to Successful Forex Trading ebook. That's worth 20 bucks right out of the gate, okay? So once again, guys, this is the deal. 100% money back guarantee within your first 30 days. All you have to do is click the link, read. If you could please send that link out to everybody one more time. I know you already did, but just in case. And at this time, I have to start wrapping up, okay? I'm right at my mark. Can I type in? Okay, perfect. Peyton, I thank you for asking that. He's saying, how much is it after your first 30 days? So after your first 30 days, folks, okay, it will be $147 a month, okay? So you're not paying $297 a month every month thereafter. It will be just once again, it's going to be just $147 every month thereafter. But guess what? You do not have to, okay? All we're asking you to commit to is your first 30 days and take it month to month, folks. So at this time, I am done. I'm going to bring Reed back on, but before I do, can everybody please type in a Y for yes or the word me if this is something you're getting involved in, if this is something you're going to take advantage of, worth the investment. Give me a Y for yes or the word me if that's you, just so I can go ahead and recognize you real quickly, because I know I got to bring Reed back on. Awesome. Congratulations, Elaine, Jim, Jack, Luis, okay, Edwin and Dane. Congrats. Joseph, Cameron, Penny, Juan, okay, and Muhammad, Pablo. Let's see here. So once again, you know, if nothing else, folks, how many of you believe that's worth it for the bonuses, okay? So with that, guys, I'm basically wrapped up. I can't believe we got all that across within that short of time. And what you should be able to see when you pull up the link is this, okay? Live Forex Market Trading Club. This is an exclusive club, folks. You will be plugging in for just $7 US. That is it. And you're very welcome, Dee. All right, all you have to do is fill out the info and you are good to go, okay? So with that, guys, last thing I will tell you is that this promotion is not going to be going on forever. This is actually a right now promotion. So because of the extremely low cost, it is something that you're going to want to take advantage of, you know, right now if you don't want to miss out on this, because we typically don't even do this, even at a special rate. We don't do it for $7, okay?